Hello, you beautiful nerds. I was never too excited about the idea of a D&D movie. I know very little about the role-playing game itself, but the little I do know feels like, other than the territories and the creatures and stuff, it felt like it was pretty open to interpretation. Like, isn't the whole point that the dungeon master decides what happens? How do you make a movie or TV show out of that? At least one that evokes the spirit of the game you're trying to adapt. Luckily, I don't know booty about this game, so they didn't have to win me over in that respect. I was just looking for a good time. I got a little buzz, got a big bucket of popcorn, a comically large sugar-free root beer, and sat back to see if this swashbuckling band of misfits are as fun as the trailer made them out to be.
Follow me to the orifice.
The orifice?
I'll go last.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about what we're talking about. So click that like button, pour yourself a glass of ale, and sing a little diddle, because we're going to have a quick chat about... But first, a prelude. In the year of our Lord 1990, nepotism and whiteness were working at the height of their powers when some guy named Christopher Solomon, who's no more than a fan of D&D, managed to hornswoggle the publisher of the Dungeons & Dragons property into letting him write an epic live-action film adaptation of the game. Though big-time directors like Rennie Harlan, Francis Ford Coppola, and James Cameron were all attached to direct at some point, Solomon ended up directing the film himself. Add on top of the fact that you had a director with no experience, the film was going through financing hell as deals with Paramount and Lightstorm dissolved due to disagreements on how to finance the film. So what was supposed to be a $100 million James Cameron epic turned into a $45 million budget shit show that grossed less than $20 million at the box office. I still have never seen this movie, and I can't think of any reason why I would. It looks awful. But D&D has become more part of the zeitgeist in recent years. Between that Community episode, Critical Role, and a bunch of other stuff like Stranger Things, it seems like more and more people are starting to understand what D&D is really about. I mean, not me. I still don't know shit. But, you know, other people. The cast for this movie is amazing, and the guys making the movie made me raise an eyebrow for a sec. It's written and directed by the two dudes who wrote Spider-Man Homecoming. And even though I love Spider-Man Homecoming, when I think of John Francis Daley, I always just think of this scene from Waiting.
Well, I don't know what to be when I grow up. Join the fucking army or something. Goddamn.
With a story assist from the guy who made the Lego Batman movie, I was optimistic about how this one would turn out. And luckily, this is a pretty damn good movie, y'all. This was such a fantastically good time. The costume designs are distinct and colorful, the acting is all superb, the fight scenes and magic use is surprisingly creative, and the camera movements are inspired and interesting. I was especially impressed by the special effects. There are a lot of great sequences, but there's one with Doric where she's constantly shape-shifting and it looks just cool as fuck. The animals don't look like photorealistic, but the way that it's shot is just incredible. I mean, the CGI was pretty good, but they use a lot of practical effects in this flick too. It put me in a very Star Wars-y mood because there was a lot of weird shit like cool animatronic cat people, orcs that aren't CGI, like it's an actual dude in makeup. There's a bird person? And even the CGI creatures are cool looking. I love it when fantasy combines two animals together to make an even cooler animal like the turtle ducks or the porcupines from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
What is that again? It's an owlbear.
So that was a nice treat to see. But let's talk about the script, because for a big old fantasy epic, this story is surprisingly small. The film follows Darvis, who was a member of a group called the Harpers, who are basically like knights. He does this for years until his wife is killed by some creepy bald heads and he's left to raise their daughter all alone, which he kinda sucks at. Luckily, he meets Holga, a strong-willed, kind-hearted barbarian who does not suck. Together, they form a band of thieves that do fun little heists as a family. It's pretty cute. But one day, Darvis and Holga get betrayed by snarky Hugh Grant and thrown into a dungeon. Now they have to form a new team, come up with a plan to get Darvis's family back together, and maybe make a little money in the process, if they don't die. The story isn't about stopping some world-ending cataclysmic event. This guy is just trying to save his daughter from a narcissistic psychopath.
I just want my kids back.
Sure, there's some big, bad, evil shit that comes up later in the film, but that's all being built up in the background. The main story is about Chris Pine admitting to himself how selfish he's been and how his past trauma is motivating his bad decision making. Like I mentioned earlier, this cast is pretty good.
Pretty darn good.
It's full of remarkably underrated character actors that are usually the best part of their own movies. I love Justice Smith. He was great in this, and he does such a great British accent that I assumed that I had his whole nationality completely wrong. But no, he's from California. He's just a good ass actor. But his character has a cool arc, and he's funny without feeling like he's trying too hard to be like the comic relief of the movie. He's been in a few stinkers lately, so it was good to see him play a character that he was perfectly cast for. I also dig Sophia Lillis. She was the best kid actor in the It movies, and I liked her a lot in this. Michelle Rodriguez is always good, and this, in my opinion, is the best role of her career. Pretty sure this is the first time she was the second lead of a movie. Her and Chris Pine have wonderful chemistry together. You really feel like they've known each other for a long time, but also that they're very different people. I like that Holga is kind of a dum-dum. Like every once in a while she'll say something really stupid, but she's not so stupid that we wonder why she would be on the team. It just helps highlight the wit of the character of Darvis, because he is not a great fighter, but he's a good planner most of the time.
I'm a planner. I make plans.
You've already made the plan, so...
If the existing plan fails, I make a new plan.
So you make plans that fail.
It was a bad plan. You planned things badly.
I almost gave him the MVP because he's doing all those things that I love about him, but I have to give it to, and you won't even know what I'm talking about unless you've seen the movie, but the MVP goes to Jonathan. Jonathan is just... Please just watch the movie. It really feels like every member of this fellowship balances out the next member. They all work together really well because they all bring their strengths and weaknesses to the table. At the end of the movie, the door is left pretty wide open for a potential sequel with these characters, and I, for one, hope we get several. I know this isn't gonna happen, but I hope this movie freaking rocks the box office. Because even though it wasn't a marvel of modern technology or some such shit, I still had way more fun watching this than Avatar. Like, I'll probably watch D&D 2 or 3 more times before I ever watch another Avatar movie again. It's too damn long, y'all. Jimmy, your movie's too long, bro. This is just an exciting, creative, thrilling adventure akin to Pirates of the Caribbean or Indiana Jones, you know? It's just fun. It's just a super fun movie. There's apparently a bunch of Easter eggs and references to the source material in this, but I'm a big old dum-dum when it comes to that stuff, so I didn't catch any of that. But that just speaks more to the strengths of this film because I didn't feel like I was getting hit over the head with references I didn't get. This flick builds its universe in a satisfying and digestible way that doesn't sacrifice story or character development in the process. Again, I hope we get to revisit these characters someday soon because it feels like they've only scratched the surface of this insane world. And if I get to follow these lovable, charismatic knaves, I want to go back again and again. My ranking, I loved it. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to floss, don't forget to call your mom, and don't forget to like and subscribe. They're all equally important. Also, check out the Drunk Banthas podcast and our new show called Does It Hold Up, where we watch old genre movies and see if they are as bad or as good as we remember. It's gonna be so much fun. But until next time, stay safe, my little owl bears, and may the force be with you.